Got another Sony beta in to look at. This one's an SLHF900, and the complaint on this one is it won't load the tape. The owner of it also feels that the linear audio head is worn out and was asking about replacement. Well, we'll see about that. I mean, they can wear, although they generally don't. But they can go, but it might just be dirty. We'll check that out once we get the unit to load. So let's see what the problem is with this one and see if we can get it to work. First things first, let's just see what it does. That doesn't feel right, does it? It's that does not feel right. I think we got a broken gear on this one. Let's see if I'm right, or a broken loading arm. Probably a broken gear, but let's just see whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. So we'll just pop out the front loader. It's held in by 4 screws. And a belt, of course. Now the belt's off. Oops. Switch fell out. Alright, that's just this unplugs. It just popped out. It just goes in here like this. I want to check out this, make sure that the mechanism actually operates correctly, because it felt like it was hanging up. Quite often gears crack on these, and after all these years I would not be surprised to find broken gears. I'll turn the mechanism down by hand, and it goes down. Okay, I'll go back the other way, and we'll just watch what the mechanism does as it lifts. It lifts up. And it's ejected. It's gone all the way back to the home position. So when I push the tape in, the tape should yeah, that feels normal. I wonder if it's just the switch on the side here is bad. These switches, the contacts get dirty on here, and then it doesn't make a proper connection to signal the microprocessor that it's ready to go. But we can clean this switch with some deoxit. Now put this back in, and we'll put the front loader back in and just try it again and see what happens when the tape gets pushed in. Is it closes its contact. So when the tape gets pushed in, that contact activates, and that's what starts the loading cycle. Before I do that, I do see a problem. That little spring, that's part of the auto stop, and it tells the system when the tape is unloaded, because it tilts this when the tape is in the fully unloaded position, which it's not now. It's in the fully loaded position, but it thinks it's in the unloaded position. You can see the guides are loaded, and the reason why it's sitting like that is because that sensor is telling it that the tape is unloaded, because it is drifted back and it's pointing at this little metal post here. So quite a common problem. It's a little plastic tab there that broke off. What we need to do is we need to put that spring into the hole there so that it holds this at the right position. It's real simple to do this. Been doing this for 40 years. It's gotta basically put the spring down in through that hole just to hold it in position, and then this will operate properly. That will fix that. Now when I unload the mechanism, if I turn this, to unload the mechanism. And we'll observe the guides moving back. When the pinch roller gets back, it will pull on a lever that will move this at the unloaded position. The guides go down, the guides retract, fold down under the mechanism. And then when the main shuttle P2 gets under here, you'll see that this will turn. And it should start turning. It's controlled by this, and it turns now. And then when it faces that pin, that tells the mechanism that the tape is unloaded, and it can then operate the solenoid like that, close the solenoid down to transfer power to the belt to raise the tape. Now it can reinstall the cassette housing, the cassette elevator, or front loading mechanism, whatever you want to call it. There. Cassette housing just drops in place, and we'll put the 4 screws back in. It's working. I'm getting severe plasma interference, probably from the Panasonic. Turn the Panasonic off. There, the plasma interference is gone. Let's try the tracking control on here. That's better. He said he thought that the linear audio head was worn on here. Let's see how it sounds. Kind of sounds muffled, doesn't it? Let's just try another tape. I'll try cleaning the audio head. It's muffled. Now, the guy that owns it seems to think the audio head is worn. It could be. The linear audio head could be worn. Of course, finding one of those now would be challenging. Although I probably have one because I have a scrap. I have a parts machine. So it just depends on how much money he wants to spend. The reason I'm putting this tape in is this tape does not have hi-fi. It's just a linear only. Well, that sounds a lot better. It wasn't worn, it was just dirty. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. So this is the original tape that was shot back in 1987. Tracking off a bit there, I'll just adjust that. This was shot in a GCS1 beta movie. That's just me kind of tweaking the tracking control a bit. What I'll do is I'll throw the alignment tape in and we'll take a look at the alignment. Yeah, the waveform's a little off, isn't it? That should be nice and flat, but it's not. See if we can improve on that. First I'll take a look and see whether the drum is worn. Upper drum shows a fair bit of wear. So we can take this off and clean it up. I'll show it to you when I take it off. It's got a lot of wear. It's got a lot of shine on it. So we'll just put a couple of scratches on here so that we know the position when I put the drum back together. And it's going to get a hex key, and we'll take this off and we'll fix the problem with the upper drum. And you'll see once I get it off what I'm talking about. First I'll take out the screws on the top here that holds this guide in place. There's two of them. One's under this little cover. This is a grounding spring, which just discharges any static charge that gets picked up. I can remove this. And now we have to remove the drum. The size is 3mm. We'll just undo it. I'm going to hold it up while I undo this so that and keep the heads away from the end here. So one head is here and one head's there. I can see the wires. We're just going to remove the screw and lift the drum off like that. Now you can see what I mean. The amount of wear that's on here, you can see how shiny it is. It should look like this, but the tape has polished this, and that causes excessive tension, which will in turn cause the tracking to appear off. So I'm going to mix up a little bit of Comet cleanser or some other type of cleaner and a little bit of water into a paste, and then we'll come back and we'll fix this up. I've done this before. I've showed you guys how this is done before, but this is just standard Comet cleanser on a wet rag or wet piece of paper, and we're just going to clean and basically remove the shine. And when it gets shiny like that, it gets sticky. So we're just going to work this. Doesn't take long, and it will remove that shiny material and have the drum return to normal. I've had people ask, can I use ultrafine sandpaper? And the answer to that is always no. You cannot use sandpaper. All we're doing is removing the shine. Sandpaper is far too coarse. If you use sandpaper, you're going to change the dimensions of the drum, and then you'll never get it to play. So it's going to buff this up and then go wash it in water, and we'll be back to reassemble. Alright, that's a lot better than when we started. So now it's time to reassemble. Going to place the upper drum back on again. Careful of the head chips, have them off to the side. We're going to put that under there. Drop the drum back on and hold it up. Get the screw into position. And thread in the screw, and then tighten up the lock screw again. This is why we put the marks on here, so that I can get the alignment exactly where it was before. This is not the alignment tape I'm checking now, I'm just making sure it plays. Look at the alignment tape now. And somebody's been into here. Yeah, somebody's definitely been tweaking on this one because the guides are loose. At least that one was. How's this other one? Yeah. See, that's... the guides were loose. Let's put this tracking control in the center. That's looking a lot better. That's what we expect to see. We expect to see a nice flat waveform. Why is it drifting? I guess my... hold off control. That's what we want. We want a nice flat waveform like that. Okay, this is a playback of a recording I made off of YouTube, so I can't show it for more than 5 seconds or they're going to give me a copyright claim, those pricks. Much better. This is the playback from right out of the GCS1 Super Beta movie down in Las Vegas in 87, I guess it was. I think this was 87 when I did this one. And the sound is playing fine. Not a lot of sound on here, but it was just ambient background sound. This was shot quite late in the evening when I remember doing this. Because it was so bloody hot, you can't go outside during the day. You can't go outside till like midnight because it's so hot there. But I wanted to get the signs photographed the 2 times I went down with cameras. I wanted to get the signs photographed, the old signs, and made a video from it. Okay, that looks good. And here is, this isn't even Super Beta. Turn the Super Beta off on this thing. Gotta find the switch on here because it degrades the picture if you have it turned on. Okay, there's regular beta. This was recorded using HVC900 and an SL2000 Beta 3. This was the training course actually on the SLHF900. I had to replace that cable. Video cable's broken. That's me talking.
Yeah. All right.
We were talking about, I had the SLHF900 at the point, and I'd played around with it, and I said, well, it doesn't have flying erase head, so you can't really call it an editor.
Record it. And then move on to another frame and record it 1 frame at a time, like they do in film. Not so with this machine. This machine it needs time to go from pause to synced up playback or synced up record or whichever way you want to use it. So it's not possible to do any actual editing, I would say, within good clean edits within maybe 20 to 30 frames or so.
It's about right. SLHF900 would do it in 3 frames.
So
but these ones here were 20 to 30 frames.
Just recording several sections of information. And maybe they cover themselves by this term they use here, with small changes in each section.
Creases and droplets.
Which would indicate that they mean not 1 frame, but a number of frames, a section. But they still use the term animation, which is not correct. It isn't true animation. It's just the assembling of several short sections, more easily than they could before. There's the key. More easily than we could in some of our other models. It doesn't mean it does it the way the commercial people like it done. And, okay, 2 reasons why our machines can't do that. One is the cost. These are
damage tape.
All these things it will do, but they've never actually done it themselves. They transfer that information on to someone who's fairly knowledgeable.
Anyway, this one's now fixed, so I guess we'll catch you in the next one.
You have to know.
Bye.